It's a rainy day on the Yamaha R7. Today we're going to be taking another look at this motorcycle and we're going to be answering that age-old question whether or not this bike is street friendly. I am a 100% street rider. I don't do track days. I want to, but I haven't got around to doing it yet. But these super sports, that's the one question I always find myself asking after I've done our first impressions ride reviews of these bikes. Definitely go check that out if you haven't done so already, so you can get a full rundown of what this bike is like to ride. But I always find myself asking, is this streetable or not? Well, that's what we're going to find out today, at least in comparison to other bikes in the market. Bikes like the ZX4R, bikes like the Ninja 500, bikes like 600cc Super Sports, which unfortunately this bike isn't that comparable to, at least in terms of performance. But the riding experience is very similar to what you'd get to a Super Sport 600cc, but it doesn't quite have the performance to really feel like a Super Sport, if you know what I mean. It might have the looks and it might have the sound, but it's not quite there, which is a shame. I was really hoping that this bike would give the 600cc class of Super Sports a bit of a run for their money, but it isn't there, unfortunately. Even though you've got this super aggressive ergonomic setup, quite cramped, quite far leaning over the handlebars. The funny thing is, guys, this bike actually isn't that street friendly, because the one thing I kind of think to myself is a ratio, right? So is the ergonomic setup, is the bad ergonomic setup kind of made up for by the riding experience? And unfortunately, in my opinion, it's not. The riding experience isn't quite up there to justify this aggressive ergonomic setup, because you can kind of forgive ergonomics if the experience is really positive and it's really good. And it's not a bad experience, but it's quite an average experience in my humble opinion, at least compared to the ZX4R, compared to the Ninja 400. This just doesn't have that X factor. It doesn't quite have that twinkle in its eye. The fact you're missing a full color TFT dash, you're missing a quick shifter, those are the basics for me on these kinds of motorcycles now. If you want a really decent tech package, you need to have a quick shifter, you need to have a full color adjustable TFT dash. It doesn't have adjustable rider modes either, as far as I'm aware. And to some riders that might be a big positive, that all the tech isn't that intimidating. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things that you have to worry about. You can just jump on and ride it and not have to worry. But for me, I like that kind of stuff. And so even then, that experience is lacking in the tech department for me. It just, I don't know, it's missing something. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it does seem to be missing something. And even though the throttle response is good, it doesn't have a big bite. It doesn't have that kind of throw back into your seat kind of experience, which I was kind of hoping for. Yeah, it's a difficult one today, guys, because I want to be positive around bikes, and this is the first bike that I seem to be quite negative about. But all I can do is just be honest. Yeah. It's difficult, man. It's really difficult, because I want to give this bike points, but everything I'm finding is quite average. The riding experience, well, the power is average, the riding experience is harsh because of those harsh ergonomics. The tech package is non-existent. Yeah, really difficult, man. But honestly, I'm struggling to think where this bike really fits in the market, in what kind of rider would appreciate this kind of bike. And the only rider I could think of was an A2 rider. But you've got to get it restricted and all that. That's the only type of rider that I can think about, is a rider that hasn't quite got their full license yet. But even then, you restrict this bike, I really don't think you're going to be that impressed with it when you come to de-restrict it after you've done your full license. Again, that sounds really harsh, and I'm trying not to be. There's quite a lot of vibration as well to boot. Alright, so some positives. The clutch feel is very nice, alright? For street riding, absolutely perfect. It's super light, and for start-stop traffic and stuff like that, easy. No worries at all, really good. The gear shifting is smooth as butter. Very, very nice. And I suppose one other positive thing is, if you're looking for that ultra-aggressive riding position, but you don't want to be doing over 100 mile an hour in first gear, you want to have innocent fun, well, then yeah, you could make the argument this bike delivers that. It does have that going for it, but it doesn't have that torque for me. I like to have torque lower down the rev range, because then you get to experience the full power of the bike without going ridiculously fast everywhere. So that's kind of like where I'm at with this bike. Yeah. Where does this bike fit in, guys, in the market? You tell me, where does this bike fit in? Because it doesn't fit in with the likes of middle-rate riders who are looking for a light experience but with a nice amount of horsepower. It doesn't quite fit in with the middleweight riders who want a nice amount of torque in a lightweight package. And it doesn't really fit advanced riders. I don't think an advanced rider would really get much benefit out of this bike. Not at least compared to other bikes on the market. And there are loads of better bikes on the market if you're looking at paying this kind of money, and if you're looking at this kind of experience. I mean, we spoke about the RS660 before, and any 600cc Supersport beats this bike in terms of experience. Yes, you have still got those aggressive ergonomics on those bikes, but the experience is there to, well, it kind of makes up for it. It makes up for the lack of ergonomics. I don't think this bike is there, unfortunately. If this bike could produce the same amount of power or have a very similar experience to the RS660, then I definitely say this over the RS660, at least in terms of the riding experience, because then you would have something going for it. But yeah, this bike doesn't quite have it, unfortunately. Yeah, suffice to say, guys, I'm disappointed. I think yeah, even struggles to pull wheelies in first gear. It doesn't want to pick up the front end. Well, look, I think one thing I can say about the bike is that this isn't for me. I really enjoy Supersports. You guys know I enjoy Supersports. I've ridden quite a lot of them now, and I really enjoy them. But this isn't it. This is missing something, and I don't know what it is. It's missing like some kind of special sauce that quite a lot of other Supersports have. But who's this rider for? Who is this rider for? I think it's a confused bike. I think this is kind of meant to be an A2 bike that they kind of bumped up a little bit, but they wanted to have that option. But again, I mean, when you're talking like bikes such as the Ninja 7 and the Z7 hybrid, which I had the privileged opportunity to have a go on. Again, big thank you to Clear Motorbikes for hooking me up there. And that has got a 451cc parallel twin cylinder engine. But that seems to have more guts than this bike does. But it does have that e-boost function, which again is a little trump card that bike has over this. And you're paying only a little bit more for that kind of bike than you are this. But this is the exact opposite. We're talking a bike with hardly any techie features, and a bike that is totally rich with techie features. Oh man, it's tough, but honestly, no, I don't think this is a very good street riding motorcycle. And I don't know who this bike was designed for, really, when Yamaha were making it, when they were designing it. I don't know who it was for, but it's not up there with the middleweight super sports. It's a step below those. And the experience just isn't there, guys. But you let me know what you think down in the comment section below. You let me know who you think this motorcycle is designed for, and try and change my mind here, because I really want this bike to be better than what I've said today. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below. As always, go ahead, leave that like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any more of our motorcycle reviews going forward, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Take care, ride safe.